small businesses. So it's not a complete blackout in that way.
Just the big box retailers, basically.
Big box, but not just big box retailers. We're talking about gas, really redirecting your funds or not spending it during that time because that's the only thing. We know that's the Achilles heel for corporations.
Just getting started with Raquel Graham, we were talking more about the calls for this economic boycott. I'll make a case. I will amen whatever she says, I'm certain. But let her make the case for why now more than ever we need to support black business during this holiday season. Raquel Graham, Shark Tank winner, CEO of Roq Innovation, host of Entrepreneur with Raquel Graham as our guest on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you can receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power.
And more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Shark Tank winner, CEO of Roq Innovation, and host of Entrepreneur with Raquel Graham, the radio program. Raquel Graham, talking about all things business in this most important holiday shopping season. And so there have been calls for an economic boycott on this Black Friday, and we're talking about whether or not that has any real impact. And the evidence suggests that it does. We've marched and boycotted all throughout, our history. And the recent earnings report from Target was not cute. And to Raquel's point, which always cracks me up, we just went through a thing with Southern California Edison here in Southern California in this station. And so we know recalcitrance when we see it. We know an inability to apologize when we see it. We know a level of disrespect for the humanity and dignity of black people and black consumers when we see it. And Target has essentially sort of dug their heels in. So they refuse to apologize, but the numbers, as they say, don't lie, Raquel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is why we have to have this economic boycott. And it does work. And I want to reiterate also that boycotts are not meant to be convenient. I always go back to the Montgomery boycott. That was 381 days.
Whole year.
Which is when you just think about that. So the other thing is boycotts also should serve to make you rethink your spending anyway. I know for me, not being able to go into Target for detergent and come out every time spending $300, you realize how much mindless spending that you're doing. And I think that is one of the things when we're in this kind of economy and when every dollar counts, it absolutely will impact corporations even more because that every dollar that they lose really matters to them as well.
I was in conversation yesterday, and you'll appreciate this given that you are an entrepreneur yourself. But part of what troubles me so, and again, no naivete here about the way Donald Trump shows up. We just, again, spent time talking about the fact that he escaped yet another criminal prosecution in Georgia. But Donald Trump running this anti-black agenda and this anti-DEI agenda, as you well know, gave corporate America all the cover they needed to do what they didn't want to do in the first place anyway, which was to have DEI programs. So that story is being reported every day. Every other day you see another major company that is abandoning its commitment to DE&I. I mean, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, run the list. All of them have abandoned basically their DEI programs. That story is being reported. What's not being reported, as I said in this meeting yesterday, is that they have also stopped spending money on black-owned media. You saw Byron Allen unload a bunch of TV stations the other day. And I've been in conversation with other black media owners across the country. They're in trouble because, again, they didn't just abandon their commitment to DEI. They've abandoned their commitment to black-owned media. So that everybody's in trouble. I raise that only because there was a time when many of these corporations were concerned about being good corporate citizens. As you well know, there are lists that come out perennially. Annually, I should say. There are lists that come out annually of what businesses are the best corporate citizens in this country. To your point about where you spend your money, you can Google and find out whether or not a company's values align with your values before you spend money there. You ain't got to read the LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post to see who's abandoning their commitment to DE&I. But there are lists every year that come out again annually that tell you which companies are, really stand-up companies, which companies are really good corporate citizens. It seems to me that in this era of Donald Trump, they don't care anymore about being a good corporate citizen. Am I missing something here?
Well, I'm not so sure if it's about not being a good corporate citizen or do you really have a choice because you want to align with the president.
They're scared of him,
right? They're scared of him. So this is a very unique situation where if you don't align, then the repercussions, you're between a rock and a hard place to a certain extent. That's no excuse because there are other companies that are, they are not folding. So, but this is a unique time. And I think that's part of the deal with Target. Whatever is happening at the top or behind doors, closed doors, they will not bend. And so this is the first time that I think that we can point to a time where corporations will lose money to have to shine with the administration, which is absolutely absurd.
This Target thing has gone on for some time, so this question might seem a little strange to ask because it has in fact been sustained long enough to impact their bottom line. But I'm always wrestling with this question of sustainability, and I don't mean the environment. I mean the sustainability in terms of the boycott. You mentioned the most effective boycott in the history of all boycotts, the Montgomery bus boycott. This thing goes on for a year. And I marvel and I smile as I am right now every time I think about this. I've written about this in my work, about how these black people abandoned those buses. And they rode, that was the original carpool. They carpooled, they walked, they rode their bicycles, they did anything, they had the church buses on. They
dressed well.
That's right, you know that. They did anything and everything they had to do to break the back of that racist bus system in Montgomery. And yet I have not seen an example of anything since then that comes anywhere close to the kind of solidarity that we saw then that again broke the back of that bus company. And yet I am heartened by the fact that at least this boycott against Target has sustained itself long enough to have impacted their bottom line.
Oh, I definitely think it will it's not going anywhere.
It continues, you think?
It continues, and it continues because the political climate and all of the things that you talk about with DEI and just so many of these changes in the administration, they're so offensive that you have reminders around you all the time. And you are reminded that those things are not going to change. So what is it about any of these stores, if you do, especially having the capability to buy online now, you don't have to go into those stores. You can get things direct. And that's what's really important about this boycott, and even any boycott. You can always buy directly from the Black, small, women-owned. It does not matter. You can buy directly. They do better that way anyway. So, and that's what I mean about the convenience and the ease. A boycott is going to be uncomfortable. So if you have to do 5 extra clicks, it beats having to do all the walking that they did at the, we cannot be spoiled, right? So I definitely think it's sustainable. I have no intention of ever going back.
So that's what you don't want to do. What you don't want to do on Black Friday is support those institutions that don't support you. That's what you don't want to do. Now let's flip it to what we do want to do. What we do want to do, as Raquel is teeing up now, is to support Black business. Let me put you on the spot right quick. You're an entrepreneur and you are a product producer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not producing a product, so to speak. I'm on the radio trying to produce good content, and that is my product, but not the same way you are. And other Black businesses that produce products. So if you're a product producer, this is the time of the year where you want to make a lot of money. People are shopping, they're buying gifts, et cetera, et cetera. Give me a sense of the way inside your company, Roq Innovation, all the stuff that you own, all the stuff you produce. You won Shark Tank. We know your backstory. Give me a sense of how much you're leaning into, how much you typically lean into the holiday season, pushing out your product, and what that does. What percentage would you say that means that represents for your bottom line annually?
For small businesses, the holiday represents easily 50%.
Half. Wow.
For many small businesses.
Right.
So which is why when I heard about the boycott, I had to dig deeper. I was like, there's no way in the world someone came up with this that to impact, it would kill small businesses, right? So this is do or die. And given the political, the economy and the climate, it is even more crucial because it's been a crazy year, a difficult year, given tariffs in particular. And so for me to prepare, we do a lot of marketing, and we really look deeply into the pricing because of the economy, right? So be very creative around the deals that you're offering. Any way that you can offer something free, and this means really paying attention to your pricing, because if you can offer free shipping but somehow you've adjusted your prices, or if it's 2 for 1, where it's, something like bundles are great, but you really, this takes pre-planning for the holiday, and it's worth it.
We had Lori Wallach, who's an expert on trade and tariffs. Lori's on this program, I guess, a week or so ago. If you missed that conversation, I'm giving you her name so you can find the podcast. Lori Wallach, WALLACH. Lori is brilliant. We've been friends for years and talked many times. Whenever I'm trying to understand, the impact of trade and tariffs, I call Lori, and she makes it understandable to everyday people like me and to the listeners. And Lori's making this powerful point the other day, Raquel, that when these companies say that they're raising prices on us, and if you're a Black business and you have to get whatever your products are from someplace else to do what you do with them, they raise these prices and they blame it on tariffs. But she was actually breaking down how, to a large degree, that is a lie. She literally broke down all the things on which there are no tariffs. But these businesses have gotten smart enough to know that in a moment where you got a president running the tariff game, they play the game too. So they lie and tell you that they're raising prices on X, Y, and Z because they're being hit with the tariffs. And she just broke down in such a brilliant way. See, Tavis, when you hear people say they're raising prices because of tariffs on these things, they're lying. There are no tariffs on washers and dryers. That one, I remember that one. But she ran this long list of things about which they lie when they pass these increases on to you. It's really not that way. And so when she was saying that, I thought about you, and I think about all the small black-owned businesses who are catching hell right now because somebody's charging them a higher price, and that may be built on a lie.
Well, for us, we know when there's the tariff because we don't get our product. We can't pick it up from the port unless we pay it. So that we know. The other thing is this happened during COVID as well. When there is a situation where, like tariffs, there are all of these increases, people will hop on, just like they did in COVID, right? Because the other thing...
It's called price gouging, as you know.
But the other thing that is unique, again, is this tariff situation is you have to dig deep to see who is taxed and who isn't, because there's so many carve-outs. And the carve-outs revolve around favoritism.
That's right.
And the carve-outs change almost daily. So it's really hard to know who, coffee was taxed and now the tariff is down, and who has time to keep track of all of that? So it's really, I know what she's saying is 100% accurate, but it does not help the everyday person.
Yeah, I guess her point is, again, and my point, repeating her or quoting her, is that a lot of this tariff narrative that we're getting is based on a lie. They're telling you they're raising prices because of tariffs, but the stuff ain't even subject to tariffs.
Right.
So what you're getting is a lie about tariffs when it essentially is price gouging. And Lori says we got to call it what it is. It is price gouging, and of course, small businesses are impacted by this level of price gouging. What resources? Again, you are small. You're black-owned business. What resources exist for us to know? To research quickly small businesses, small black-owned businesses in the areas of things that we want to buy during the holiday season. You understand my question?
Yeah, I do.
Is there a resource online you can type in?
There are a few, and this is one of the challenges. I see lots of different creators trying to create lists or do reviews of companies that they like. What will really happen if you're on social media and you start looking up black-owned, the algorithm is going to start to point to all the black-owned businesses, like your feed, because that's the algorithm has changed now. So what you want and what you're looking for is what will come up in your feed. But even if you do hashtag black-owned companies, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of either companies or people that have lists. But as a comprehensive list, I can't even really. And you know me, I'm immediately going to go to chat.
Yeah, I know you do. I know.
But honestly, it's in the feed, and that is unfortunately, that is one of the challenges that we have. We just don't have one comprehensive directory, which is unfortunate, because one of the things I say and part of entrepreneuring is that black businesses are everywhere that you can, from toilet paper, you name it, right? So, and even if you do your searches around, like there is, I don't know the name of it, but there is a black-owned toilet paper company, right? So if you do a search like that, it will come up. But it's going to take work. Finding these companies takes work, and that's just what we have to do to support them directly.
Well, everybody can't be on Oprah's favorite things list, like Raquel Graham is. So, 5 years in a row now on Oprah's favorite things list. So everybody can't be there, but we can all search. As she said earlier, just do a few extra clicks, That is, clicks to find these black-owned businesses. But I repeat, and Raquel and I are simpatico in this. Now is the most critical time of year to support black-owned businesses. You heard us say earlier that many of these businesses make 50% of their revenue during this particular season of the year. So you don't need me to say it again, but I will say it again: support black business, and I'll leave it there. Raquel Graham is Shark Tank winner, CEO of Roq Innovation, and host of Entrepreneuring with Raquel Graham, the radio program. Pleased to have her back on this program. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and good luck to your son. Tell about your son. Brag on your son right quick.
Okay, the K school is going to the CIF championship for football.
There you go.
And the final game is on Saturday.
Good luck to your son in the big game. All right, more of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Jersey City heads to a runoff next Tuesday after no candidate won outright. James Solomon and former Governor Jim McGreevey faced off in a debate.
And you can only do it if you, one, have a track record of beating big developers and real estate interests, and two, if you have a plan to deliver it, and I have that plan.
They both focused on affordability and education. A Black South Carolina dental office employee is accused of stealing more than $600,000. Authorities say 39-year-old Ashanti Kiana Kinney embezzled the money from the Affordable Dentures and Implants in Myrtle Beach over several years. She now faces multiple felony charges. And former NBA star Rick Fox is running for office in the Bahamas. The ex-Laker and Celtic says his platform focuses on affordable housing, health care, and safer communities ahead of the next general election. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
More good times for the Lakers, more misery for the Clippers. The Lakers won their fifth straight game Tuesday night, dominating the Clippers 135-118. The Lakers are 13-4. They're tied with Denver for the second-best record in the Western Conference. The Lakers' big three combined for 99 points. Luka Doncic had a game-high 43 plus 13 assists. Austin Reeves dropped 31. LeBron had 25 and 6 assists in 32 minutes. The 135 points was the most allowed by the Clippers this season. The Clippers are 5-13. They are 2-11 since November 3rd. The latest college football playoff rankings are out. The top 4 seeds in the 12-team field: Ohio State, Tavis, Smiley's Indiana Hoosiers, Texas A&M, and Georgia. If these teams remain among the top 4, they will get a first-round bye in the playoffs. The final rankings and 12-team bracket will be finalized on December 7th. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish. Minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
On providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Find what you love, love what you find. Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Dive in the know and price is so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed. I'm glad to have you with us on this Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Turkey Day to you and yours. We just had a great conversation with Raquel Graham, Shark Tank winner, CEO of Roq Innovation, host of her own radio program called Entrepreneuring with Raquel Graham. We were talking about these calls for an economic boycott on Black Friday. In case you missed that conversation, the evidence is pretty clear that this boycott against Target that was spearheaded primarily by African Americans is having an impact. If you've seen Target's most recent earnings, and say nothing of the personnel trouble, they're making a number of personnel changes inside of Target. Just Google the story about Target's earnings and their personnel changes, and you'll see some pretty strong evidence that this boycott ongoing against Target is having an impact on their bottom line. Now, they're doubling down. They're digging in their heels. They're not apologizing. They're trying to ignore it and act like it's not happening. But the numbers tell the story, and the numbers don't lie. People lie, but the numbers don't lie. And so you can see pretty clearly that this boycott of Target is having an impact, number one. Number two, that took us to a conversation straight away about the vital importance of supporting Black-owned businesses during this holiday season. So I say that not to cast aspersion on anybody else, but there's so many minority, small-owned, Black-owned businesses that are taking it on the chin right about now in this economy. So we are encouraging you to just make a little extra effort and get outside the big box retailers and get outside the places you typically and normally go and find a way to support minority and women-owned businesses during this particular holiday season. Some of these small businesses pull in as much as 50% of their revenues, their annual revenues, from the holiday season. So we encourage you, again, to do a little extra work and find your way into supporting minority and women-owned businesses during this holiday season. So now that takes us straightway into a conversation with the cybersecurity expert MK Palmore about the Algorithmic Disclosure Act and why algorithmic pricing can be a cybersecurity threat to online shoppers this holiday season. So attention all online shoppers, attention all online shoppers. A conversation now with MK Palmore. MK, how are you?
Doing well, Tavis. Thanks for having me.
Man, good to have you on the program. Let me just make the most of the time that we have. So first of all, tell me about this, and I'm going to say it real slow. I've been trying to get it right. Algorithmic Disclosure Act. Tell me more about that first, and we'll jump from there.
So the Algorithmic Disclosure Act really is about a revenue generation model that some companies are now using to adjust pricing depending on geographical regions, buying history, and there are some publicly available information that they're ingesting into the algorithms to determine pricing. I don't necessarily categorize that as a cybersecurity threat, although happy to talk about ways that the public and certainly the minority communities can be impacted by this, because at the end of the day, any algorithm, in fact, most algorithms, most of the technology that we all utilize and that we see in terms of our business interactions comes from individuals, humans, who draft and write these computer summations as to decisions that are made by the computing and technology systems. And so these algorithms, of course, take into account the bias associated with the persons drafting the algorithms, and it's actually up to the companies that create these algorithms to go in after the fact in a quality assurance process to make sure that those biases don't negatively impact customers on the other end of it. But at the end of the day, again, a revenue generation model, I think that you'd be surprised that this has been in place for quite some time. Adjusted pricing has become common, certainly in the e-commerce world, where they understand that the companies that utilize these programs, their goal, as always, to satisfy stakeholders, and those stakeholders are typically shareholders. Their goal is to map, and so it's not surprising that there's algorithmic capabilities that will determine the maximum amount that an individual is willing to pay for an item and or a service during particular times and in particular regions of the country.
I hear loud and clear, MK, and I see why in the lane that you run, it's not necessarily a cybersecurity threat. I throw it in that category because any kind of economic exploitation of poor people or people of color, any kind of exploitation economically that you're going to be impacted by, to me, is a threat to your bottom line, if nothing else. So it may not fit the classic definition of cybersecurity threat. I take that. But since you went there, let me follow you. You said you were happy to talk about the way in which these algorithms impact certain kinds of shoppers. Let me follow you since you offered to go there. Tell me more.
So we have to understand the cybersecurity industry, which I've had the benefit of being a part of now for the better part of a decade plus. I ventured into the industry as part of my time as a special agent with the FBI. I spent 22 years in the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I was lucky towards the end of my career to lead one of the largest cybersecurity investigative teams based out here in the Bay Area, so FBI San Francisco. And that was the beginning of my true exposure to the industry. And when I retired from government service, I went on to work cybersecurity roles at 2 Fortune 500 companies before striking off on my own. The industry, as it stands today and has been for quite some time, is built around software engineers, software developers, and security experts who essentially represent a very, very sort of large domain of either white or Asian males who represent the largest part of the industry. For many, many years, individuals like myself, African Americans or people of color, have advocated for more inclusion of folks that come from a variety of backgrounds to be a part of the industry, and it's an uphill battle, and it's one that, quite frankly, even though there's been a lot of attention paid to it, hasn't really changed that much in the better part of a decade. I was a champion and actual leader of a national nonprofit that was geared towards bringing more minorities into the space. And although we had a good run, I think, of corporate support, and there was certainly a lot of attention that was paid around the issue around, as you might imagine, the George Floyd incident, it got hyper-focused around it. I think that has trailed off tremendously. And so the industry overall, vast majority, white and Asian males, women, people of color, represent the minority within those industries. And because of that, well, when you have the vast majority of the industry dominated by a certain demographic, their propensities, their bias, their judgments are really the dominating factor that go into the creation of most of the technology that the world utilizes. And so there are, of course, some corporate entities that recognize this and have taken steps to ensure that they, again, put a quality assurance lens into their ability to produce unbiased or at least equal products and put those out into the market. It's not commonly undertaken, and it requires additional effort on their part to do that in a fair and just manner. And so, as with anything, black and brown communities are typically disparately impacted by anything that comes across negatively. And so this is just one of those areas, again, where we should expect to see some disparities. And I think the act that you mentioned, bringing light to these kinds of things, is an important step in the right direction, but it quite frankly, that solution doesn't necessarily change the approach of these revenue-generating industries to change their practices in any way.
Yep. We know that Black Friday is just a couple of days away from now, and then we know that Cyber Monday is just a few more days after that. I've got a question specifically about Cyber Monday when we come forward with MK Palmore. I've got a question about adjusted pricing, an additional question about that. Pleased to have this cyber security expert on our program. As you mentioned, he's ex-FBI. He's also ex-Marine, ex-Google executive. He's done a lot of stuff in his career. I'm glad to have him on the program.
From the Merck Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We want to speak directly to our listeners in Altadena and all across Southern California. Recently, we invited Southern California Edison to join a town hall so fire survivors could ask questions and get clear information about the Altadena Eaton fire and this so-called settlement fund. Weeks before the event, the law firm originally connected to the program withdrew, and we provided SCE updated materials confirming those changes. But despite that, SCE later stated publicly and privately that they were pulling out of the town hall because plaintiffs' attorneys were participating. That was not accurate, and SCE knew that it was not accurate. But when shown documentation that disproved their claim, SCE ignored it and declined to correct the record. At KBLA Talk 1580, trust is not an option. It is the foundation of our work and witness. It is the promise that we make to you. And any partnership that misrepresents the facts or undermines the credibility that we have built in love and service to this beloved community. Our commitment remains with the good people of Altadena. We will continue providing independent, verified information to support your recovery without interference from any outside entity, including Southern California Edison, so you don't get burned twice. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, MK Palmore, cybersecurity expert. Delighted to have him on in advance of Cyber Monday, which follows Black Friday. We're in that season of the year, and so we are fully aware of what these days are all about and the ways that people of color and certain online shoppers are impacted. I want to go right back watching my timer, MK. I want to go right back quickly here to this notion of adjusted pricing. You're right, that's nothing new in particular. It's been around for a while now. But who gets targeted the most? And I want to be careful with these words, but I think they both apply. Who gets targeted the most, and who gets exploited the most by this adjusted pricing?
So I think it's important to note that, I mean, our system, our monetary system, our capitalist system really is based upon the idea of not necessarily what an item is worth, but what someone is willing to pay for it. And I think that adjusted pricing is just a natural manifestation of that. It is, especially in the service market. You know, for those of us that travel a bunch, I'm a heavy business traveler. I know that in every city that I drop into around the world, I'm probably going to be relying on Uber to get me around. Guess what? Uber adjusts its pricing depending on the time of day, depending on the high traffic. In other words, they know that, hey, your need for that particular service may completely outweigh any kind of practical approach, and your willingness to pay for it is going to be very dependent upon the value then that's offered for that service. It's truly convenient, and I know, as an international traveler, I'm going to jump in an Uber no matter what city it is, no matter what time of day I happen to drop into the city. That's going to be my mode of transportation. And so, businesses have figured out a way to maximize their profit during these times. And so, as I indicated in my earlier statement, it's not uncommon that Black and brown communities are disproportionately impacted by things like this, because it not only at the highest level is just something that's going to impact any consumer, but at the same time, if there's a negative connotation to it, if there are negative aspects or negative dividends, then they are going to disproportionately impact folks that come from Black and brown communities, and specifically those that are social and economically disadvantaged within those communities, because I don't want to make the statement that everyone that comes from those communities is disadvantaged economically, but there are large numbers of folks who are, that rely on these services, rely on the components and products. Again, I mentioned we're in a relatively high e-commerce world. Even just in the past decade, the world has changed immensely. I know in terms of my own shopping habits, I almost never walk into a store to go buy anything. I'm a heavy user of e-commerce. In my mind, if I can't find it online, then I'm probably not going to get it. Like I would say, again, not trying to make broad statements, like a lot of men, I don't like to shop. I would just as soon identify the product I need and have it be delivered at my home in a 48-hour period. So again, impact notwithstanding, this is I think a natural evolution of the idea that the companies are going to charge what they think someone's willing to pay for an item, and they figured out a way to add data, science, and mathematics to it. To make it to actually maximize the optimization of these algorithms. And again, natural manifestation, I think it's important to note and make sure that people are aware of these kinds of things, and to hold the companies accountable if we determine through analysis that there is some disproportionate impact to socio disadvantaged people or economically disadvantaged people, then hold them accountable. And again, there are some companies that are leaning into this already, like without having to be nudged to do so, and are thinking intently. But I don't know that there's any one particular company that's actually solved this problem. I can tell you during my time at Google, I was actually impressed with the amount of effort that Google put into building up bodies within the company that were responsible for thinking about the socioeconomic impact of their products, especially as they, I was at Google during the initial explosion of artificial intelligence, and I saw the thought process that went into, hey, we got to make sure that these products are equal in terms of the use of them, the availability, the access, and also the outputs of the technology, which is really the critical issue. And so, I want to give a nod to them because I had personal experience with it, but that doesn't mean they're the only company that pays attention.
No, and you're right about the fact that e-commerce is on steroids these days. Everybody knows that, and you're not the only person. So you ain't got to apologize for it. You're not the only person who only buys stuff online, and that's why Cyber Monday is such a huge deal. We'll ask MK in our remaining moments with him when we come forward here how we navigate the best ways for you to navigate Cyber Monday. You're listening to MK Palmore on Tavis, Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis, Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, MK Palmore, cybersecurity expert. I've got about 2.5 minutes left with him. I want to give him all that time. We discussed in this conversation, MK, that we can't do a whole lot about adjusted pricing as we head towards Cyber Monday. We can't do much about price gouging. I discussed that earlier in the hour with our previous guest. Can we do anything about protecting our data from this algorithmic pricing? That's always my concern on Cyber Monday or any other time I'm online, protecting data.
Yeah, there's a lot that we can do, and this is where I think the fight for each individual starts. It's about, as I like to call practicing the fundamentals. People have to be much more circumspect about the amount of information that they offer about themselves online, and a lot of this starts thinking inwardly about how to protect yourself, your identity. We have to all understand that because of the numerous breaches that have happened over the past decade, some pieces of your personal information are likely already on the dark web, already being utilized by adversaries to try and either gain identity advantage or to use it to gain access to sites that you typically access. And so the whole idea here is to be very, very strict about how you approach your own online identity and usage of information. Start with, enable a service and lock down your credit. Make sure that no one is capable of going out and creating an identity using your personal information and creating credit without you knowing about it. Those services work. Those are the basics. Think about using a single credit card online that you only use for online purchases and have that be the conduit to which you see all of your online activities, because you can go in, restrict purchases, you can go in the fraud and identity capture for most financial institutions is really, really high level. I know as a business traveler, anytime that I travel or drop into some place that represents an anomaly, I might get a fraud detection charge when I'm simply buying a meal or buying some piece of electronics. Take the practices and do the kinds of things that will protect you individually at every step. And protect the digital systems that you're utilizing, utilize the software applications and things that are out there to protect the systems, the laptops that you have. You're going to use your phone system, everything that touches a piece of your digital identity.
It is great advice for Cyber Monday coming up just a few days from now. I know in New York State, they passed a law that requires companies to clearly state when they're using customers' personal data to adjust these prices. So if you're in New York, that's good news. But Cyber Monday, again, just around the corner, and I love the advice from MK Palmore about how to protect yourself and how to protect your data on Monday when you're trying to get all those good deals. MK Palmore, ex-Marine, ex-FBI, ex-Google executive, all-around cybersecurity expert. Pleased to have you on the program, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tavis. Same to you.
More of Tavis Smiley, including her conversation with Leslie Jones, the comedian and actress from SNL, has a new stand-up comedy special. Look forward to talking to Leslie for the hour. In our final hour, you're listening to Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Jersey City heads to a runoff next Tuesday after no candidate won outright. James Solomon and former Governor Jim McGreevey faced off in a debate.
And you can only do it if you, one, have a track record of beating big developers and real estate interests, and two, if you have a plan to deliver it. And I have that plan.
They both focused on affordability and education. A Black South Carolina dental office employee is accused of stealing more than $600,000. Authorities say 39-year-old Ashanti Kiana Kinney embezzled the money from the Affordable Dentures and Implants in Myrtle Beach over several years. She now faces multiple felony charges. And former NBA star Rick Fox is running for office in the Bahamas. The ex-Laker and Celtic says his platform focuses on affordable housing, health care, and safer communities ahead of the next general election. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
More good times for the Lakers, more misery for the Clippers. The Lakers won their fifth straight game Tuesday night, dominating the Clippers 135